2 months after the World Trade Center attack, Abdurrahman was in Kabul. The Taliban were fleeing the capital, which was being taken over by the Northern Alliance, backed by the United States and Britain. In the chaos, Abdurrahman became separated from his family. At that time in Kabul, any Arab was suspected of affiliation with Osama bin Laden. The Americans were offering a bounty for Al-Qaeda members. Arabic-looking foreigners were being rounded up. Abdurrahman Khader was arrested and released several times, but ended up in an Afghan prison. After 6 weeks, he was handed over to the American forces.
When the Americans started interrogating me, that's when I realized that there's no way out of this except to, like, tell them, okay, I'll cooperate with them, because this was their only way. They said, you work with us, or what, we can keep you here, we can take you to Cuba, we can do anything with you right now. No one in the world cares about this.
Abdurrahman says that he was interrogated extensively by 2 American agents, one from the FBI and one from the CIA. He says that they became much more interested in him when they realized how close he had been to the very center of Al-Qaeda.
In a week or 2, they started trusting me more, and then they asked me, would you like to work for us? Would you like to go with the troops there in Afghanistan to the front lines and work for us there, and tell us who the people we capture are? And the very beginning, it was my first time in this situation. I was scared of jail, and I said, you know what, I'll do anything.
For several months, Abdurrahman says he traveled regularly around Kabul with American investigators and visitors.
There was this tour, they called it Abdurrahman tour. It was famous for that. I took the people from the CIA, the FBI, the military. We'd go around in a car in Kabul. I'd show them the houses of Al-Qaeda people, the guest houses, the safe houses, where houses were. This was a guest house they used before. This was a guest house they used later. This is a safe house they used after September 11. Just show them the houses. So there was that tour, and otherwise I just told them what I knew.
Abdurrahman says he lived for 9 months in a CIA safe house near the American embassy in Kabul. In the summer of 2002, he says he received a financial offer from the CIA.
They brought me a paper. They said $5,000 bonus for you being very cooperative, and from now on, just by working with us, just answering our questions, you get paid $3,000 a month until you stop working for us. The paper said I would get paid until someone found out about this. Now, the account was under my name. It was a CIA account somewhere, I don't know where, but the money went to my account. And whenever I want my money, I can ask for it.
Did the paper say Central Intelligence Agency? Did it say who you would be working for?
Yes, yeah. You'd be working for the CIA.
During the months that Abdurrahman was in the CIA safe house, suspected Al-Qaeda members were being rounded up all over Afghanistan. Hundreds of the prisoners were put on planes and flown to Cuba, to Camp X-Ray at the U.S. Naval Base at Guantanamo. The world could see that the prisoners were being treated harshly, but Abdurrahman says he didn't know any of that when the CIA proposed a new plan to him. They would plant him as one of their spies in the prison population, and he would funnel information to them. He says the plan was explained to him by his favorite CIA agent.
She said, well, you'll go to Cuba, you'll be working for us there, talking to other detainees, meeting other detainees and stuff, and telling us what they tell you and stuff. I said, how long is it going to be? She told me, well, it'd probably be from 3 to 6 months. I said, well, faster. So I said, okay.
Abdurrahman says he was told that he would have to be treated like any other prisoner on the way to Guantanamo to avoid suspicion. He was taken to the Bagram Air Base near Kabul, where the Americans had built a processing center for suspected Al-Qaeda captives. Here he began what he calls the longest and most painful ordeal of his life. He had no idea what he was getting into.
They took off my clothes and everything, and they started taking pictures of me. Pictures like of my face, and then pictures of my my private parts, like my back, my penis, so taking pictures of every part of my body. And they check your anus. They put their fingers inside to check it out. All of that is humiliation to any person. They put me in the orange suit, and then they took me into a room, and they put me on the ground again, hands, legs, everything cuffed, and my face covered. And I was kept on the concrete with nothing but that orange suit for 24 hours. So I stayed in Bagram for 10 days, and you could not move. You could not move your back, so you couldn't bend or straight. There's one position to stay in it. If you move, they hit you or they push you, so they tell you not to move. After that, they put us in a truck for an hour or two, the same position, and they took us out of that to the plane. They tied us up in the plane, cuffed us up and everything in the plane.
After 10 days of captivity in Bagram, that plane trip to Cuba would last more than 15 hours. By the time the aircraft landed, Abdurrahman says he was a broken man.
It was points, I just, in my heart, I just wished to God. I wished to God that one of these MPs would go crazy and then shoot me. Just get up and shoot me. I was so depressed. I was so sick of anything. It was the only time in my life that I really wished for a bullet. I was like, please God, do something, but just take away my life,